friend texted me and is like, how did this happen? And I was like, I don't know. What's up, y'all? My name is Logan Mill, and have I got a story for you. This is gonna be a good one this week. I've been wanting to tell this story for a long time because I think it's really funny, and hopefully you guys do too. This is a story about my brother Spencer, a girl who we're going to call Sarah, and a boy who we're going to call Ryan. So the story starts in New York City. Now, reminder, my family and I are from the Midwest, but my brother Spencer is a professional actor, so he went to school his first year of college in New York City. While he was there, my dad and a friend of my dad's set up somehow, I don't know the whole backstory, but somehow they set up a meeting between my brother Spencer and this girl named Sarah. They were both living in New York, and so we had a mutual connection, so they ended up meeting. Sarah is beyond gorgeous. She's a beautiful girl, super sweet, super kind, super smart. So my brother immediately liked her. So they start dating, and Spencer really likes Sarah. He's really into her, and so he's really excited. I remember him telling me about her, like saying how great she was and everything. And so obviously my parents knew about her. And so my parents, when they went up to New York, they met her and they thought she was great. But there was one difference between Spencer and the girl Sarah, which was a pretty important difference, unfortunately. Spencer, as a part of my family, grew up as a Christian. We're pretty religious people. He claims his Christianity and he's very forward about it. And Sarah, as well, was very forward about her religion, which is Mormonism. So, this is where the story gets its first little twist. So Spencer's really into Sarah, and everything's working out between them, but there's this kind of elephant in the room that they have two very different religions. Well, not necessarily very different religions, but two religions that have different beliefs about certain things. So Spencer would talk to me about this, and he was like, well, there's nothing wrong with being a Mormon. I mean, it's a really great religion. She has these really great ideas and these really great beliefs. And I totally understood, you know? To me, when it comes to relationships, I always say, don't fix what's not broken. So since there was nothing wrong with their relationship, I didn't think they should break up over religion. And of course, Spencer didn't want to either. But unfortunately, as Spencer fell for Sarah, he kept thinking about it and just kept thinking about how if they did become more serious, if they did want to get married, or if they did think about having kids, the religion difference would become a problem because they would want to raise their kids in different religions, and that's a really big issue in relationships when they get to that serious level. So Spencer didn't want to keep falling for her and then end up heartbroken in the end whenever they knew that their religions didn't coincide or that one of them wasn't going to change their religion for the other. So unfortunately, Spencer and Sarah ended up breaking up. Coming to the next part of this story. So while Spencer and Sarah dated, Spencer introduced Sarah to another family that we know from our hometown in the Midwest. I'm going to call the family the Rileys. So the Rileys are another theater family from the Midwest, and they were also in New York at the time that Spencer and Sarah were there. They have younger children in their family, so they needed a babysitter. So Spencer introduced Sarah to the Rileys. And so Sarah ended up babysitting for the Rileys, and they really clicked, and so she became a friend of this family as well. After Spencer and Sarah broke up, Sarah still obviously kept in touch with the Rileys. She still babysat for them. The Rileys knew that Sarah was Mormon and that she was kind of looking for a guy, you know, now that she was single again. So in our hometown in the Midwest, in our specific high school, actually, the same high school that Spencer and I went to, and the Rileys are a part of the same school district, although their kids weren't old enough to be in the high school yet. But our school district, you kind of all get to know each other, the older families, the younger families. Eventually everyone gets kind of interconnected because the younger siblings will know each other, whatever. So the Rileys knew of a family in our school district who we will call the Michaels. So the Rileys and the Michaels knew each other. And it just so happens that the Michaels are a family in our school district that are Mormon, and they're openly Mormon, as in like people that are friends with this family know that their religion is Mormonism, just like people know that we're Christians and people know that each other are Catholic, whatever. The Rileys knew that the Michaels were Mormon. And there was a boy in the Michaels family that was a year older than my brother Spencer, so about the same age as Sarah. This is where the story gets really great. The Michaels live on the same street in the Midwest, in our hometown. They live on the same street as us. So Spencer and the boy from the Michaels family, who we will call Ryan and Spencer are about the same age, we went to the same high school, and we live on the same streets. All of this in the Midwest, very far away from New York City. But because of Spencer introducing Sarah to the Rileys in New York, the Rileys then introduced Sarah to Ryan from the Michaels family. So just to sum this up, I know this is a lot of like names and places. Spencer dated Sarah in New York. Sarah met the Rileys in New York. But the Rileys are from where we're from, which are where the Michaels are from. And we live on the same street. And so what happens is Sarah starts dating Ryan, who lived on the same street and went to the same high school as Spencer. Just imagine our surprise when we start seeing pictures of Sarah and Ryan together, who are from completely different areas of the country, and they're like the only two Mormon people that we know, because Mormonism isn't a huge religion, and it's pretty rare for you to know a ton of people that are Mormon unless you're a Mormon, or unless you live in like Utah where there's a big Mormon population. So the two people that we happen to know in the world that are Mormon end up dating each other. And we're seeing pictures of them on Instagram dating. And we're just like laughing about it. And Spencer's of course over Sarah by this point. He started dating someone else or seeing someone else. And so there was no like hard feelings or like overlapping. Nothing sketchy. But it was just the weirdest thing that we start seeing pictures of the two people that we know that are Mormon, and the guy happened to live on our street in the Midwest and is now dating Spencer's ex-girlfriend from New York. So the timeline is basically this. Spencer and Sarah start dating the beginning of 2015. They break up about 6 months later in the summer of 2015. About a year later, Sarah meets Ryan, who is from our hometown, and starts dating him. In April of this year, Sarah and Ryan got engaged. So less than 2 years after Spencer and Sarah broke up, Sarah is now married to the only other Mormon person we know who happened to live on our street in the Midwest, and now they are married. And now, just a little tiny side story to just sum up the ridiculous coincidental situation of this story. A friend of mine is also friends with the Michaels family, so Ryan's family. So she was with Ryan and Sarah and was meeting Sarah for the first time. She had no idea that Sarah had dated my brother Spencer, and it's a friend of mine, so she knows my brother Spencer. So she's with Sarah and Ryan, the newly engaged couple, and she happens to mention a theater in our hometown where they are, and says, "Oh, did you know that Spencer is in a show in that theater right now?" Just like, of all the things that she could talk about, she just happens to mention Spencer between Sarah and Ryan. She said that it was just this like really awkward little exchange that they had. They didn't like say anything, they just kind of looked at each other and shared a like funny moment. And so my friend later realized that Sarah had dated Spencer and texted me and is like, "How did this happen?" And I was like, "I don't know." I don't know, maybe it's not as funny as I think it is, but I think it's so funny. And I am so happy for Sarah and Ryan. They are like the most beautiful couple. Because like I said, Sarah's gorgeous and Ryan's also a very good looking person. So they have made like a beautiful couple and we're so happy for them. But it's just the definition of it's a small world. Seriously, the two Mormon people we know, one lives on the same street as us in our hometown in the Midwest and happens to end up married to the only other Mormon person we know in New York City. We knew her from New York. What is the world? So anyway, I love this story. I hope you guys like this story. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.